Hi, I am Magnus, and today I want to vent out a little bit. This channel is basically LGBT content and about my transition, but today I want to speak about something that has been bothering me for quite a long time. It's, as the title says, about an illness. Now, right now, I am diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I want to talk about a little bit of that, or maybe a lot. I'm sorry. When I was 6 or 7, and yes, I'm starting at the beginning, I fell from the roof of my house to a cement floor because I thought it was fine to disobey my mom and to go play in the roof. Bad idea. I was fine as far as I thought. Nothing really hurt. There was nothing bent, crooked, cracked, broken. So I thought that was it. And when I was 11, I started having a mild pain in my lower back whenever I did a lot of exercise and straining, like a lot. And I thought that it was related to the fall. And since then, the pain went increasing little by little by little. But it was so not bothersome and just barely there, only when I really strained myself, that I didn't pay much attention to it. When I was 15, I noticed that my skin started to hurt. Like when someone poked me, like very hard, like when you're poking or pinching. And it hurt more than usual, more than it should. But it was nothing really important, so I let it go. And I also noticed some sensitivity to the sun. Like my skin in my arms will itch and I will get some rashes. But that was easy. I will just cover my body whenever it was summer, and that was it. When I was 19, I started practicing kendo. That's a Japanese martial art. And I was living it. I had 3 1-hour sessions. Actually, it was 2-hour sessions plus 1 4-hour session a week, plus 2 hours or so almost every day of the week of cardio. I was on fire. Then, between 20 and 21, my back pain worsened till the point that I couldn't lift my arms, walk, or anything. I will cry as soundly as I could inside my kendo helmet so that my senpai and my sensei, my teacher, wouldn't listen to my misery. In 2012, I traveled back to Peru, my home country, and tried to go back to kendo. My back pain had somehow diminished, and while not gone, it was manageable. I just had to prioritize what I was doing and how much of that I was doing. And I started also in 2013 my graphic design career. Mind you, before that, I was working between 12 to 14 hours a day. So I ended up in 2013 sleeping like 3 to 4 hours a day tops. And part of it was in a bus drive. I felt powerful and alive, and then the pain came back. But this time it grew bad quicker than before, and it was awful. I remember telling my illness, just let me stay in kendo. Just please. But I had to stop. So I prayed, please let me finish my career. But I had to drop out. And I went from working 14 hours a day to barely making 4 to 8 hours a week. And obviously I got fired. I couldn't go walking. I couldn't stay standing or sitting for not even too long. I could only lay in my bed. Some mornings I will wake up stiff as a wooden board, slowly moving an inch every hour so that I will be able to stand up. I remember once I was showering and I bent over to soak my feet or my knees, and this burning, flaring pain started on my lower back, and it felt like it was going to crack from the weight of my body, and I was scared out of my wits. At that time, I was living with my uncle and my aunt and their children, my cousins, but they weren't there at that time. It was only their nanny and the cleaning lady that were there. And I did call for help. But I think because they had the radio on, they didn't hear me. And I was panicking because I didn't know how I was going to finish showering or get out of the shower. I just waited until I was able to move again. And I guess it was very difficult because after many visits and tests, and one especially painful one where the technician treated me like a piece of dead meat, he didn't answer any of my questions. He just caused me excruciating pain, and I didn't know why. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Lovely. For those of you who don't know what fibromyalgia is, basically is your mind not working correctly. When you hurt yourself, whether that is a cut or a broken bone or strained muscle or something like that, your brain sends signals to that part of your body or the parts linked to it to feel pain and to respond to it, like to start bleeding, to create a scar tissue, and to swell up, and blah, 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 blah. Point is, there is no reason to feel pain, but my brain says, feel pain, and sends as many signals as it wants. And it's a party there. So I get swollen without any reason to be swollen. And the doctor, oh so kindly, informed me that there was no treatment or help, and while there was a pill that could have helped me at the worst moments of the illness, he wasn't going to prescribe it, because it was too much of a hassle for him. I came out of that room in shock, in tears, and went into the deepest depression I have ever experienced in my life. I just was down, and down in the spiral. When I started living with my uncle and aunt, I was kind of caring for my cousins. Sometimes. Like playing games with them, babysitting. It was really nice. And at nights, one of them, the girl, she will cry, and I will wake up, go to their room, lift her up, and pat her till she fell asleep again, and I was able to put her back on the crib And by the time I was diagnosed, I was so in pain, so much pain all the time. One night she cried. I bent over to pick her up, and I couldn't neither pick her up nor straighten. I was just trying to calm myself enough to calm her down for her to go back to sleep, so that my uncle and my aunt wouldn't come to the room and find me bent over, resting my upper body on her crib and crying over her. It was just so frustrating and disheartening. I wasn't even able to care for her, especially because she is my goddaughter. I really wanted to take care of her, and I couldn't. I felt just useless and defeated. And since then, the symptoms have only increased in number and intensity. In 2017, my hands got numbed and tingly. The first time it happened, I remember it was either a Saturday or a Friday, because after work, I was gaming. And I was gaming in my laptop, playing games for 7 hours or so, because we stopped playing around 5 in the morning. It was a very good session, and I was feeling a lot of pain in my wrist and these 2 fingers, and I thought maybe I had strained myself, because the position that you have to be in the laptop is a little bit difficult for your hands to keep it for a long time. So I just decided to rest, went to sleep, and woke up feeling my left arm tingly and kind of numbed. But the sensation went away throughout the day, so I thought it was just a consequence of the gaming session. But then the next week, it happened again, without a gaming session in between. And then it happened again. On the 3rd week that it happened, that time, it was not just my left arm, it was my right arm. Both were feeling tingly and numbed from the tip of my fingers to my elbow. And while it went away through the day, it took longer, and they felt weak. I couldn't grab a pencil, something as simple as this. I couldn't. And I couldn't hold glasses of water. I couldn't turn doorknobs. It felt so odd. It felt more like it was my brain than a muscle issue. It was like sending the message for my hand to make a fist. It was like walking through mud. It took so much effort, and I couldn't completely make a fist or give strength to it. Like, I will do this, and you know how soft, instead of, if you see this is me making a fist. This is me making the fist when I'm on a bad moment of flare-up. I couldn't really do it, and I was like, and it felt like my mind had the problem. Like I couldn't order my hand to do it, like whole stuff. And sometimes I will have to turn the knobs with both hands, and they will slip. I learned to open bottles with the palm of my hand by pressing and turning, making like friction because I couldn't have enough strength to turn the cap off. So after going to the doctor again, having a CT scan and another electromyography, that thankfully this time the doctor was very kind and talked me through the test. I was not diagnosed with fibromyalgia, but not because I didn't have it, but because the doctor thought fibro was a lie, non-existent, just an excuse to not diagnose someone with something. So he carefully said I had nothing. Feeling devastated and depressed again, I went home to learn yet again to live with my new set of issues. Every morning since then, my hands are tingly and I feel slightly numbed. I have to slowly move them. And I'm also constantly pressing the pads of my fingers to make sure I'm strong enough to work. I haven't recovered all my fine motor skills. Holding cups or glasses takes a lot of conscious effort. And most times I'm taking with both hands to make sure I don't break everything in my house. My skin hurts, so I can't have my arm grabbed or poked. Even slightly poked can be painful. Pinch, definitely. Slapped also, like this, is very painful. The skin of my palms, more so. It feels like they're burning. I can't put weight on them, like when you do bench presses. I can't. I also can't stretch them, like when you put your hands on your hips or thighs, you like go like this, like opening, stretching. I can't. Stretching my palms is very painful. My knee also hurts. Both knees actually. They feel like burning when I try to put weight on them or like kneel down. It's like there's no skin, only bone. The sole of my feet also burn every morning, as if I have been dancing all night long. Thankfully, the sensation goes away quickly after I have been standing for a little bit. My hair is falling, and no, this started before tea. And it's actually partly the reason why I decided to dye my hair in so many colors before I stopped having hair. I also have this bright pink butterfly rash on my face. It's pinker and redder than the camera gets. I have also mouth sores from time to time. I'm sensitive or allergic to the sun, as I mentioned. I'm also having small water bubbles. They look like bubbles, and they only have water inside, and they are not on the sole of my feet. They're more like on the sides of it. And I can't walk more than 3 blocks without my cane because my back burns and pains and hurts like if it's going to crack under the weight of my upper body. I have extreme fatigue. Many foods give me nausea. I love eating pizza. I can't do it now. Fish, tuna, I can't stand it anymore. I have flaky scalp and skin. I have to constantly be cleaning my face because it bothers me so much to have that, it's like I'm peeling off. It's rather annoying. I'm also cramping all the time. I just have to stretch, move, twist. It's getting to the point that even laying down can be painful because I just have to move a little bit and I start cramping. It's really painful and annoying. I'm not sure if it's related, but my memory has been quite bad recently. Now, my memory has been bad from the very beginning. Not able to remember faces or names and such. But once when I was 20 or 21, I forgot the person I was in love with. He was my friend. And I forgot that he was my friend. I thought he was my little sister's friend. And last year, I couldn't recognize my cousin. I saw her grow up. It's like I know that I know her, but I can't recognize her. And now, since that day that I was shocked to not know her, every time I see her, I feel like she's an imposter. And it's very scary. I'm scared of my own mind. My ex-boyfriend, who's my dearest friend now, is so used to remind me about the memories we have together. But not only what happened, but how I looked, what I said, how I said I felt. If I don't write it down, it's easily forgotten. And sometimes my mind feels muddled, and this is something I read once, that it's called the fried frog effect. And it's like my mind works way too slow and doesn't process things correctly. One day I was walking down the street. I stopped at a corner and looked at the street light, and it was a red light. And the traffic light, it was red. And I couldn't for the love of me remember what red meant to me. Should I cross? Should I wait? What should I do? It took me a long time in seconds, to decide to cross, to end up having a car honking at me because I shouldn't have been crossing the street. Sometimes I have to think piece by piece what people are saying, and I feel cold and sweaty and wary that they don't know why I'm not understanding. Why do they have to repeat themselves 5 times? And I hate it so much when they say things like, "Oh, you do know. You did get it. Don't act like you don't get it. Don't act like you don't know. You're faking it." I hate it because I know I should get it. I know I should know it, but I don't. And at this point, I don't believe it's fibromyalgia, because it shouldn't be a degenerative disease. And this definitely looks like it. I'm having more symptoms every few years. All symptoms remain. And it's always like an increasing, like my abilities and capacities are diminishing. What I can do and how I can do it is changing. And I feel like I'm losing myself one piece at a time. And I can only worry what's going to be next, what's going to be taken away from me in a week, in a month, in a year. I have thought about lupus and other illnesses, but unless I find one doctor that cares more about their patients than his paycheck, I won't know. And there's a lot of things going on in my mind, but this is getting way too long. So that's basically it. That's my situation now. And why it takes me so long to do lots of things. Like the comic I want to do. It takes a long time. And working my normal job takes a long time. Thankfully, this job that I have has my incredible boss that is very patient and knows how I feel. So he is like always encouraging me to do better, more hours and more minutes, like to push myself a little bit every month, and it's helping. Even though it's not my dream job, I am able to do it. So I want to keep it for as long as I can. And it's a struggle sometimes to even wake up, because not only have the depression that comes with old age, but I also have my back stiffness, the pain, the numbness, the tingling, the cramping, and just the feeling of losing myself. And that people don't understand. I mean, it took me a long time to accept my condition and buy myself a cane because I was scared of the label of disabled. But I couldn't stand up on a bus crying or trying to not cry because I have so much pain and I can't ask for the preferred seat. And I needed the cane for that. And I decided to file some forms on the health department for disability, but only for information. There is no real coverage for disability here. But I just wanted the ID so that I can use it. And my family was so against it. Like it was a dirty word. It was something like it was something shameful. At least that's how I felt it. I mean, how are you gonna get a job with that? Do you really want something like that attached to your files? To your name? They were treating it like a death sentence. And since I bought the cane, I have been able to walk a lot more. When my dearest friend came to visit me from Guatemala, I was able to walk so much. I was so proud of myself, like 15 kilometers or 20 kilometers. Of course, I went back home with a lot of pain and I had to rest a lot. I worked from bed many days, but I felt alive and I felt happy because the cane allowed me to walk with him. And acknowledging my disabilities have helped me, but I wish I could say for sure what is the problem. Why is my body failing so much? What is my mind failing so much? And if there's anything that I can do about it. Even though right now, as the pandemic is going on, having lupus will be like a really bad idea. I kind of want to be diagnosed on an illness like that because it has a treatment. Being told that I have fibromyalgia has actually felt like a death sentence because there is no treatment here for that. I can only bare my teeth and just move on, continue on suffering, continue on waiting for something else to go wrong. And I cannot continue on living like that. I wish I had another kind of disease that I could control better, that I could have pills or therapy or injections or something, just anything, not just bearing it, surviving it. Surviving is not living. Oh well, this is just so long. I'm sorry if you are finishing, if you have reached this part, I am so sorry, but I'm so grateful as well. Because it's very difficult. And I try not to speak about everything of this disease because I fear that I'm gonna think that I'm whining, that I'm overthinking it, that I'm making a spectacle of it or something like that. And on the other side, my mom, for example, she takes it to heart, and it's very painful for her. So I don't talk about a lot about this with her. So if you reach this level, this minute, thank you. Thank you for listening. And I hope you're not going through this. I hope you are doing well. Goodbye.